Hey, good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful day out there. I hope you're having a good start to your morning. We're ready for our Torah thought for the day. But we speak about silver linings, and one of the silver linings that we've had during these last few weeks is that we had our kids home, all our children home, not for a holiday, not with any busyness, just at home with us. And that's been great. So I thought, why not include them into some of our little tidbits here so we could hear from them. So here's Mushkie, our oldest, who made us parents. As I call her, our Bechora, because she was the one who gave us the gift of being parents, which is the greatest gift you get in life. And I said, hey, Mushkie just came back from Israel, and I'll give over to her to say a few words before we start.
Hi, guys. Wow, it's such an honor to be on the very important daily Torah thought of the day. First of all, it's really nice to get to say hello and be connected to all of the Chestnut Hill community and all of the, our extended community, Chestnut Hill, from wherever you are. It's interesting because I was very excited to come home and get to see everyone. I was away for the year, and it's unexpected that but it's nice to be able to connect on here. Last night my father said, we need a guest for this Facebook Live, and I got the honor.
Mushkie doesn't do Facebook, it's for the older generation. She only does Instagram, but she's allowing us a presence, even though it's for older people.
It's very early. And I was thinking about, what would I like, what is something that I would want to share? Obviously say hello, but what is something that I would want to share that could be meaningful to people and that could... And it was, quite obvious to me that something I should share would be connected to the past experience this year that I had. I know that a lot of you know I was in Israel this year. I went to seminary. I spent the year in Beit Shemesh with girls from all over the world. It was a very, meaningful, it was the best year I had in my life.
She's very thoughtful. You never hear it's taking...
Your turn is coming soon. 1 second. It was interesting because it was a very, obviously there was all the fun pieces. I did a lot of touring and a lot of trips and a lot of restaurant eating.
Who's credit card?
A lot of swiping the credit card. So there was that aspect. But a really interesting piece for me was, I lived at home until 9th grade, and then I went to the Chabad community in New York. I was in school in New York. And I wouldn't say that I had a sheltered lifestyle, it's a very diverse community here, but I think in terms of seeing from homes and watching, that kind of experience, I was limited to my home, my grandparents, my aunts, uncles, my friends, a Chabad community. And it was a very interesting experience for me. My grandfather is one of 12 siblings. He's originally from Israel. And all of the ones that are still alive, his siblings still live in Israel. And I had the opportunity to get to meet all of my father's family, which was the most incredible experience for me. I became really close with a lot of his cousins, and none of them are Chabad. My grandfather became Chabad when he was a Bacher. He went to the Lubavitch Yeshiva, and he became Chabad. But none of his siblings and none of his nieces or nephews and family are Chabad. So I had the opportunity, we had off Shabbos a lot, and I went to every single, all of these cousins and even other people in Israel, and I had the experience of, watching how people have other, just different families, different traditions, different customs, watching how people, just little things how people experience their Yiddishkeit. And it was a really interesting and outwardly experiential kind of experience for me to get to see all of that and, absorb all of that. I absorbed a lot. I took in a lot. And, from all of the classes in seminary, from just the different trips, going to the kotel, the different places, the different everything. It was, and I think it's interesting because, I was away for the year and I had a lot of exciting plans when I came home. I was going to take the car and drive to New York for a day and drive to New Jersey to my friend. And it's interesting because, obviously this was unexpected and I came home in a rush, quickly got her home from Israel, and now we're at home. And I think it's interesting because I think that this is a really valuable time. I know for myself,
Bonding with your parents.
Obviously, bonding with my parents very early in the morning on Facebook Live. I think that, I know for myself, even more so, I took in a lot this year and I got to watch a lot and I got to see a lot and I got to absorb a lot. And I think this can be a really powerful time to sort of have a little kind of space to filter through all of that, take it in, process that, realign with myself, my values, what I hope to have in my future home. And I think that, for everyone, having this kind of time and space to turn inward a little bit. I had a very outward kind of experience this year, taking in a lot, but sort of be able to tune in inward and really realign with the values that you have and who you are and how you hope to, raise your family, live your life. And yeah, that's what I have to share. I really hope that this, I wish everyone a lot of luck. And I hope that you can take this time. I know that there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of people that are helping, and there's a lot of tips, and there's a lot of Torah messages, and there's a lot of, how to homeschool your kids, and how to reduce your anxiety there's a lot of stuff going on. And what I'm trying to do for myself and what I invite you guys all to do is, take a moment to just turn inward, focus on what's around you, focus on yourself, and may we all come.
Amazing.
Mama, I'm not done. And may we all. He's waiting for me to finish. He has a lot to say. And may we all come out of this time more in tune individually, as a community, and as a world.
Amazing.
It was nice to see you all.
The best thing is that I finally realized that Mushkie has a lot of my genes, because she says, when I told her to do a Facebook Live, she said she has nothing to say, but she managed to say that in 7 minutes, so it's pretty good for nothing to say. But that was amazing.
4 minutes over.
It was excellent. And now, first of all, hi to everyone coming on. Hi Sharon, hi Chen, hi Victoria. It's good to see you. Daniel Mishkin, hey, it's good to see you. Aaron, a pleasure. Good morning to everyone. So first of all, I don't know if I ever told this story about the CEO who becomes the CEO of a new company. He's a big Schwitzer. He has his fancy desk and office, and he has 17 phones and whatever you want. And someone comes knocking on his door. There's an appointment. Someone's here for you, and he tells the guy to sit down. And he's on the phone. He says 1 minute, and then he presses. He takes the next conference call, and the third call, and the fourth call, and the guy's sitting there for an hour. Finally, after an hour, he turns to the guy and says, "Sorry, it's been a busy morning. How can I help you?" He says, "I'm here from AT&T to connect your phone line." So sometimes, we make ourselves like we're the big Schwitzers, but really, we're all the same in the same boat. So this week's Torah portion, as I told you, is Parshas Vayikra, which speaks, it's the middle of the 5 books of Moses, and it's quite interesting, because unlike Bereshit and Shemot, by the way, this is going to probably be the first time that Mushkie sits so long and listens to her dad without just speeding out. Like, oh, I have a phone call, I have an Instagram, someone needs me, my bed's calling me. In any case.
Didn't realize that
So
on the line.
Vayikra doesn't tell us a story like Bereshit or Shemot. It happens within 1 month at one place at Mount Sinai. And it really speaks almost exclusively about sacrifices. but it actually is a very critical portion, because this is where we get our calling, V'atem tiyu li mamlechet kohanim v'go kodesh, that we should be a nation of lamplighters. And Rashi asks a question on the first verse. It says, Vayikra Hashem Moshe, God calls to Moshe, Vayidaber Elav, and he spoke to him. So there's nuances. There's nothing by chance in the Torah. If the Torah tells us something, there's a reason. So Rashi says, why does the Torah say God called Moses and then he spoke to him? Obviously, if he spoke to him, he called him. So why the redundance? And Rashi right away on the commentary says that Vayikra Hashem Moshe, that every time when God spoke to Moses, sometimes it says Vayidaber, he spoke. Sometimes it says Vayomer, he said. Sometimes it says Vayitzav, he commanded. But every time before, Vayikra, he called him. Because when you call someone, it's a language of love. And every time God would first call Moshe, and then he would speak to him. And that's why it says Vayikra Hashem Moshe, Vayidaber Elav. And this idea of having a calling, of God calling to us, of having a purpose in life, or in Western society we would say a vocation, meaning in your life, is something that I want to talk about today. Because, when you read the Declaration of Independence in America, it speaks about the pursuit of happiness. And many people will tell you that the pursuit of happiness is very similar to meaning, right? Finding meaning in your life. But the truth is they're very different. Because happiness is about the present. Am I happy now? Meaning is looking at my past, my future, and trying to find meaning in life. Happiness is usually associated with taking. Meaning is usually associated with giving. Animals can also be happy, but humans are the only ones that have meaning and purpose in life. And in fact, these two are not always interconnected. You could be happy, but not have meaning in your life. Oh, if you want to see that, check out a lot of our society today. Or you could have meaning without being happy. Sometimes you find people at their most difficult challenges that they struggle through and have had pain and suffering, and then they'll tell you afterwards, you know what? We found so much meaning through it. Were they happy? Not necessarily. Some of our greatest teachers are not the ones who have the greatest talent at being teachers, but it's the ones who find purpose and meaning in giving and nurturing their students. And that's why Vayikra, which is the portion, the central portion and book of Leviticus, which speaks about the sacrifice, about a person sacrificing. The whole idea of Leviticus is how you sacrifice in life. Well, this portion starts with the word Vayikra Hashem Moshe. It's redundant. It says it again. God called to Moses. It's about the calling of the Jewish people. Every Jew has to find meaning in his life, purpose in his life. Hi, Shlomit. Now you get to see Mushkie. Hey, more. We have a lot of Israeli people watching here.
My family in Israel. My home away from home.
Vayikra Hashem Moshe, when God's speaking about sacrifice, about purpose, He calls the Jewish people to their calling. He beckons us to find meaning in our life, to find purpose, to do something not because we want to, not because we'll enjoy it, but because we find something that we could heal. When you see someone sick and you decide to become a doctor, when you see brokenness and sadness in the world and you try to become a healer, when you see struggle in the depth of our darkness, we might not always be happy, but we could find meaning and purpose. Think about what's going on in the world now. Many of us, you say, how could you say you were happy? We might not be happy. There might be a lot of suffering in our life, but we could still find meaning and purpose in the people we nurture, in the leaders we become, in the kindness we share. And I think about this because I'm sitting here with Mushkie, and it's my first Facebook Live with one of my children. But I think as parents...
Many more to come.
Yes. Well, we only do bar mitzvah now. I think as parents, one of the greatest gifts we could give our children is a sense of purpose and calling in life. I always tell my kids that every person finds their purpose and calling in a different way. But we have to recognize and realize that we're here to serve, to give. And when we're able to realize that calling, Vayikra Hashem Elav, the first time in history that God gave a purpose and a task, not just to one person, but to an entire nation. Vayikra Hashem Elav, God gave the Jew a purpose to be a light upon the nations, to bring meaning into the life. And that's what I speak to our children. I say, Mushkie's our oldest. She's 19 already. I bless you that you find purpose in your life. I think about the Rebbe's gift. The Rebbe sent thousands of emissaries all over the world. I think about my in-laws who 45 years ago left their families in Canada and Philadelphia and picked themselves up and traveled across the world to South Africa. Those days there was no Facebook Live, no WhatsApp. It was so hard to fly, never mind to call even. And they left to go build a community. Why? Because the Rebbe gave them meaning. He gave them purpose. It wasn't about happiness. Most of the time when you have purpose, you'll find happiness within it. But the purpose has to be the reason you do it. I think about my brother-in-law and sister-in-law in China who stayed. My brother-in-law stayed, the only rabbi left in Beijing through all the coronavirus because he felt a responsibility, a purpose to be there for the people that needed him. So that's what I want to bless you all. We're coming to the first Shabbos in Nisan, the Shabbos of miracles. Let's find purpose and meaning through this challenge. Let's celebrate Shabbos and look at our children and our spouses and find our callings and find our purpose and be able to connect to others and be able to find happiness through our meaning and purpose in life. And I want to say one last thing, and this is another way you can find meaning. We at Chabad at Chestnut Hill, we're thinking what we could do. We've been giving out Shabbos care packages. We've been doing Facebook Lives. We'll go do some Zoom classes next week. Although I like talking without interruption. Facebook Live is much better than Zoom where you have responses. But we'll do that so people can find the connection. And Gruny's doing a babka bake at 11 a.m. live in our kitchen. I'll be watching all the kids. But that's another purpose. But what we did was we ordered 200 plus Seder kits that we want to give to our community. We know a lot of you will be celebrating Passover yourselves, and we want you to be able to be leaders, and we want you to be able to find purpose and meaning in the Seder. So be in touch how we can help you make your Seder and your Passover special. We love you. Shabbat Shalom. May it be a month of miracles. Have a good day.